Hey folks, welcome to SC Haulers. I am Sacksofwine, and if this is your first time here and seeing SC Haulers, you probably looked up, I don't know, how do I cargo haul in Star Citizen? What ship do I buy for cargo hauling in Star Citizen? The ship free fly just ended, so this video is going to be for people who have never cargo hauled before, or people who maybe went into a free fly and decided, hey, I actually want to play. Let me get into Star Citizen. What ship should I buy? So we're going to go over the basics in this video, but this series is going to be a beginner hauler's guide to the verse. And so there's going to be more in-depth stuff, but this is video number 1, so if you like the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and if you want to see more industry-related content, hit that notification bell. I do have a bunch of socials, but if you want to contact me directly, I usually respond best in the comment section and on Discord, discord.gg/schaulers. So, let's get into this haul. So before we really get into what ships we need to buy, we need to talk about what cargo capacity each ship has and what it can hold. And one thing you need to understand is the containers that will attach to your cargo grid. And these containers here are your standard ones. So we have our 1 SCU container. There are smaller ones, but this is the most generic one you will see. This is a 1 SCU container. And SCU stands for Standard Cargo Unit. You can see it's just a 1x1 box, and there's not much more to it. Here we have our 2 SCU containers, which is basically 2 of the 1 SCU containers connected to each other. You can see them side by side here. And then we go into a 4 SCU container, which is just 2 SCU containers combined. And you can see the trend here. So we move over to the 8 SCU container, and the pattern continues. The cargo capacities or the containers are just doubling. So this is the 8. We're moving on to the 16 SCU container, and we get quite a bit bigger from here. And then we'll move on to the 24 SCU container. And this is the first container that it doesn't actually double itself, but it does go up slightly quite a bit. And the weights on these are huge. And so we end it finally with the 32 SCU container. This is the heaviest and longest container now. So to pick up these boxes, you're going to need a tractor beam. And the smallest tractor beam that you can get is the multi-tool with the true hole tractor beam attachment. Now you can purchase these at most locations. I know you can purchase them at Area 18, Orison, Lorville, and majority of the time they are going to be at Dumpers Depot, but you can also buy them at the cargo centers at each of the LEOs. So Everest Harbor, Seraphim Station, Bygenie Point, and Port Tressler. And as the name says, a tractor beam will pick up these boxes and you can move them around. And as you move them around, you will see a little preview of where they're being placed. The next tractor beam that we have is the Max Lift tractor beam. This is a 2-handed tractor beam. This one doesn't pick stuff up as fast, but what it can do is pick up heavier items and send them farther. So the multi-tool with the true hole tractor beam attachment can only go about 20 meters in distance. The Max Lift can go just short of 100 meters. It depends on how heavy the cargo is that you're holding, but up to 100 meters with the Max Lift. And one example I want to show you is the multi-tool is not able to pick up these heavier containers. And so if you want to pick up the 32s and 24s, you're going to need a Max Lift or something bigger. And you can see we can pick up the 16s. If it is a heavier cargo like tungsten, the multi-tool may have issues picking up the 16s as well, but they should be able to pick them up, and it will be just a little slightly slower, less maneuverable. The next tractor beam we have is the Argo Atlas. And this thing is a necessity in my life majority of the time if I am hand loading cargo. Now, the reason why they call this the Atlas is because whenever you pick up a box with it, it lifts it up over your head and places it kind of like the statue of Atlas, where he's got the world like on his shoulder. So this is the Argo Atlas, and it's meant for transporting cargo. There are many variations of the Atlas, and this one is mine. This is the tractor beam variant. So after we do our cool little animation to get into our mech suit, you'll notice that as you go over this cargo, there will be green highlights around the box. That just means that you can pick up the box. If you don't see a green like highlight, or maybe you see like a red highlighter around whatever you're trying to pick up, that means you can't pick it up. If you look, you can see that I have a green box and a blue box. The blue box means that it is being attached to a cargo grid. If it is a green box, it is just going to place it on the floor. And this is something that is only available with the Atlas currently. All the other tractor beams, you will only ever see the blue box whenever you are attaching it to a cargo grid. The last type of tractor beam that we have is the onboard ship tractor beam, and this is the beefiest tractor beam that you can find, generally speaking. It depends on the size of the ship, but most of them have the size 2 tractor beam on them regardless. And you can see we are 31 meters away and picking up this waste like it is, this 32 SU container of waste, like it's no issue at all. And it doesn't have as quick maneuverability as the Atlas does, but it can pick up those containers. The only downside to really using the onboard tractor beams is that they don't rotate things very well. Also, if you're trying to pick up a human body or anything with an onboard tractor beam, currently the state of the game, you cannot do that. The body, or the Atlas in this case, will just transport back to wherever it was previously. Now that we have the tractor beams and our cargo sizes out of the way, what we're going to look at is your starter ships. And you need to purchase one of these game packages. Like when you go to the RSI website, you'll go to the pledge store and you'll hit game packages. You don't want to purchase a ship. If you purchase a ship, it will just award you a ship to your account. It won't actually give you access to the game. So you need to make sure your first purchase is game package. Okay, so that aside, the ships that I would recommend if you're on a budget are the 2 here at the top left. So this one is going to be the Mustang Alpha, and then you have the Drake Cutter. Now, if you're more of a person that wants to try out everything, I would recommend the Mustang Alpha on the left, the one that looks like a combat ship. And then if you want to do directly cargo hauling, I would recommend the Drake Cutter. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these are ship showdown packages. These ships will remain on the store, but they will lose this discount and the armor that comes with them after like a week from now, and today is September 2nd. But the prices should relatively be the same, so $45 and $60 per pack. Now, moving on from there, I just want to clarify on the Drake Cutter. I would recommend the Drake Cutter over the next pack, which is the Hauler Starter Pack. Now, the Drake Cutter can technically only hold 4 SCU of cargo, like 4 1 SCU boxes or 2 2 SCU boxes. But if you go off the cargo grid and just load it into the back of the ship, you can fill it up with, I want to say it was 12 SCU of cargo, which gives you way more than the Crusader Intrepid. And it's a lot less work to get it in there. But I do love the Crusader Intrepid. It's a great looking ship. The price doesn't match where it should be at. So the Hauler Starter Pack, the Crusader Intrepid, it holds 8 SCU of cargo. And if you move the cargo from the cargo bay into the internal storage area, it's not an actual storage area, but the inside of the ship, you can get around 12 SCU of cargo, but it is a pain in the butt to actually get it in there and to get it fit properly. So I would personally recommend go with the cheaper option in the Drake Cutter if you want to go with the budget option. Honestly, the Intrepid is not worth the price of $80. The last 2 ships that I would recommend are these 2 here. This one is the Advanced Hauler Starter Pack. This is the Consolidated Outlands Nomad. This holds 24 SU of cargo. It's a really, really cool ship. And so you're not going to get a lot of combat capability out of this ship, but it has a lot of cool features to it, such as internal storage, removable components. It has a tractor beam on it, so you don't have to go buy your own max lift. And it holds 24 SU of cargo, which is 2-3 times more than the starter ships. And you get all the benefits of the other packs, so access to the game, 6 months insurance, 10,000 UEC, etc. The last pack, and this is the pack I recommend at $125. This is the Privateer Starter Pack, and this is the Drake Cutlass Black. And this has been my favorite ship for years. It is the one ship that I have not gotten rid of, and I will maintain until the end of my time. Or until the end of CIG's time, whichever one comes first. This bad boy has multiple weapons, as you can see in the image. You have a pilot, co-pilot, and turret gunner seat. You have a bunk bed in there. You have internal storage lockers. You have 48 SCU of on-grid cargo. You have 6 jump seats in the back. Like, this thing can do like the jack of all trades, but master of none. This is it. You can go into a lot of different combat scenarios, not just beginner stuff with this starter, with the Drake Cutlass Black. This thing has so much to offer. So if you have $125, I would recommend, even if you start at one of these, I recommend you upgrade eventually to the Drake Cutlass Black. Now, the only downside to the Cutlass Black is that it doesn't have a gold standard on it, which means it's just not brought up to date to current ships. And also, before I forget, it has an onboard tractor beam, which is awesome. So here we have the Drake Cutter, and we're going to go do another mission with the Drake Cutter. This is just a paint that I bought. There's nothing fancy about this cutter. Just different paint. Don't worry about that. This is that Generalist pack that I was speaking of earlier, and I have cargo on here. Look at that. So this is from a mission I was trying to do the other day when I first started recording this, and then the server decided it wanted to bug, and I could not finish the mission. We have pressurized ice here. We are just going to throw that off. You can see these yellow lines here in the back of the ship. This is your cargo grid. So on the cargo grid, it says you can fit 4 SCU. And so you can fit 1 SCU here, 1 SCU here, or you can put two SCU containers on top of each other, right here in this spot. These 4 SCU containers right here, you cannot put them on their side, unfortunately. So, I mean, you can technically, but it will not attach to the cargo grid. I will show you. Oh, hit the roof. There we go. And so even though it's inside the cargo grid here, it won't attach. And we see there's no preview or anything for it. We're just gonna throw this out here. We're going to close the ramp. Welcome to the Drake Cutter. Much like the Cutlass Black, this is open interior, very much military ship style. The benefit of having the Drake Cutter is it does come with a bathroom. It comes with a bed. You have internal storage here. Just under 1 SCU of internal storage. You have a big gun weapon rack. So this is going to be for like rail guns, and you have a small weapon rack. All right, so we're going to take another mission in the Drake Cutter and just show you how you can load more cargo into smaller ships. All right, now that we have cruise control set, if you don't know how to set cruise control, left Alt and C, and then forward using W will set it to maximum speed. So while we are in cruise control, we are going to accept another mission. Now, there are not going to be any missions that have 4 SCU of cargo. We're going to have to stack this. Supply grade, we need small grade for the big cutter. Pick up cargo, grade elevator at Baijini Point, above ArcCorp. Max size will be 1 SCU. Deliver to Riker Memorial Spaceport in Area 18. This sounds fantastic, and it's only 6 SCU of cargo. So even if you had the Intrepid, this would be perfect. Actually, now it wants me to do 7. So this is another bug that we encounter with cargo hauling, is that these numbers and locations can change after you accept the mission. So make sure you pay attention to that. So I finally realized that I didn't mention why I read out the entire mission. The max container size is important depending on your ship, for reasons like you obviously can't put a 16 SU container in a cutter. The Drake cutter does not have a tractor beam, and it doesn't really need one per se, because the cargo hold is so small. But we will put our boxes on here. So this is our 4 SCU of cargo space that we have here. Now, obviously, there's much more space that we can put on here, and that's what we are going to do. The problem with doing this, for a lot of people are skeptical about doing this. One, they just want their cargo to look neat when they load it. And while you're flying around and stuff, the cargo could just fall anywhere. And you can see like this particular box is like hitting the edge of the frame there. Okay, so we've used up all our space to the ramp. But one of the cool things about the cutter is, about these SCU boxes, you can put them on the side here. So you, in theory, could have, we have 6 boxes here, you could have up to 12 SCU. Remember, you gotta leave space to get into the door here. And we'll test it, just so you can see. So this would be much easier if I had cargo on the side already. So like taking another small mission, like another 6 or 7 SCU mission, that would be ideal just to keep this cargo in place on the outside. Easier to load too. I'm just placing it where I think it would fit. This is the problem with loading cargo off grid, especially on smaller ships. But we do have the 6 boxes here, so you can fit up to 12 SCU on here and still be able to get to your pilot seat. And we're just going to, the important pieces here are making sure you can get to the back ramp if you don't have your open all doors button set, but still, there's no other way to get out of the Drake cutter. You need to be able to get to your back ramp and all the way up to the pilot seat. Oh no, I heard when we came out of Quantum, the boxes shifted around. Oh, they didn't move around that much. And we can still get out. Fantastic. Now, potentially, the only concern I would have outside of space restrictions of stacking your cargo like this off the cargo grid is that cargo is kind of iffy. And for a long time, people did not trust cargo off the cargo grid because it would just randomly vibrate its way out of your ship. And so that is still a concern somewhat. And you can see, like, there are some places, like, that's not a good example. Like, up here. When we had them stacked up here in the front. You can kind of see it vibrating like this, right? And the problem is it's stuck on the frame right here. And so it's trying to find a position where it's good and can just sit in place, but ultimately it never finds a position. And there's some kind of issue with stacking stuff on top of each other. Like if I had a table in my hangar and I put something else on top of it, for some reason, everything on my table just shakes. The table shakes, the item on the table shakes, everything within a 5-meter radius shakes, and then all of a sudden I got to replace everything that's around it. So just keep in mind, don't stack stuff too tightly, because there is a chance, and while it's a lower risk now, there is a chance that it will fall off the cargo grid and out of your ship on your way to the delivery point if you stack it too tightly. And once again, we have 7 1SU containers. We're going to confirm and send that down. And that's an easy 50K for us. So the last thing I want to show you, and this is renting ships. And you can rent ships at many locations, but the primary spot we want to go to is a cargo center at a LEO, such as Seraphim Station, Bajini Point, Everest Harbor, or Port Tressler. You can also rent ships at, I believe you can rent ships at Stanton Gateway, Pyro Gateway. There are many other locations that you can rent ships. So we went to the cargo center, and we're going to go right over here to the rentals desk, and we're going to go to the kiosk. And we just completed those 2 missions, one for 48K, one for 50K, and we should have 90K sitting pretty in our inventory. And what we can do from here, there are many ships that we can rent for just 1 day. So the CO Nomad, the Drake Cutlass Black, the Drake Cutter if you really want it, the Freelancer Mask, the Mist Hull A. This is a fantastic ship, holds 64 SCU of cargo, but it unfortunately has 0 combat capability. So the Mist Hull A is a great option if you just want to haul cargo. If you want to get more into combat related stuff and try out the Cutlass Black before you upgrade to it, you can rent the Cutlass Black for $52,920. And you can rent that for a day and do some cargo hauling. Personally, I would recommend the Hull A or the Drake Cutlass Black if you want to rent ships. And the Hull A will get you, you can stack all these missions. So in reality, what you're trying to do is just get 4 or 5 missions less than 64 SCU on the Hull A, or less than 48 SCU for the Cutlass Black, and then load all those up and deliver them all at the same time. That is the name of the game for cargo hauling. So thank you for watching the Beginner's Hauler's Guide to the Verse. And I am Sacksofwine, here with SC Haulers, and we will see you at the next haul. Love you, bye.
Sacksofwine.